especially for this little animal, enters the car and can't get out and dies in the car. The smell in your car will be quite rich. When you clean it up, the cost and psychological shadow will be great. Children's summer vacation is almost over. When children are on summer vacation, parents are the most excited. Many friends take this opportunity to take their whole family on a road trip. The summer vacation is over again. It's time to return to the life of going to school and work. The car will switch back from the self-driving mode. Commuting to and from work. Many friends, their usual driving mode is for commuting to and from work, to pick up children and buy groceries. They don't do long-distance self-driving. During the self-driving process, there will be various problems, especially after the end of summer vacation. In many areas, the south is fine, but in the north, in September, it will get cooler soon, which is also a time note for seasonal change. At this time, we should focus on checking the vehicle. Meanwhile, in a month, there will be a long holiday for National Day. Many friends will go on a long-distance self-driving. Today, let's talk about after a long-distance self-driving. And before going on a self-driving trip, what checks should be done to the vehicle? Meanwhile, let's briefly talk about seasonal changes. In fact, in spring and autumn, although we say it's a season change, the temperature difference is relatively large, and humidity changes greatly. But the transition from extreme heat to extreme cold, it is very good for the vehicle's performance. Often at this time, the vehicle's power and economy are the best, because the temperature is suitable, and humidity is also suitable. But for some specific regions, such as, like high-altitude Tibet, northern part of Yunnan, northern Xinjiang, Inner Mongolia and northeast China, especially in the northern part of Heilongjiang, it may snow before National Day. What should we pay attention to at this time? Based on my years of work experience, I will share this content with you. Let's start with the issues that should be checked, the problems that should be checked after a self-driving trip. First of all, whether your car is in the maintenance cycle. If it is in the maintenance cycle, then there is no other choice. We need to go for maintenance. Change the oil and check. We're talking about maintenance again. The most important thing is not to change the oil, but to check the vehicle performance. To check the vehicle's performance. But often, we only do oil change. Some cars are not even lifted up for inspection. Many hidden faults are also overlooked. For example, leaks under the engine and transmission, and the state of the chassis. You can't see them without lifting the car. Let's talk about them one by one. For the engine, have you noticed any abnormalities during your self-driving? Such as high water temperature, abnormal noise, weak acceleration, idle vibration, low idle speed when air conditioning is on. If there are, then we must focus on checking it when we come back, such as the state of the oil and liquid, the control of each part, the amount of carbon deposits, whether the transmission belt is aging, and whether there are loose parts. If the places you go to have a lot of sand and wind, and more dust, and relatively dry, then the filters in our car should also be checked and cleaned. If not, replace them. These all need to be checked and cleaned. Then the chassis, the state of the chassis. In the process of driving, friends who are sensitive to cars may feel that there is something abnormal. When we commute in the city, the speed can't reach, or the driving time is not enough, or even the road conditions are very smooth. Some problems may not be exposed. Therefore, only when we are driving by ourselves, such as on the highway, or bumpy roads, unpaved roads, or even wading through water, and long-distance high-temperature driving, many problems will be exposed, such as whether there is any vibration, whether the steering wheel shakes at a certain speed, or at a certain speed without shaking, or only when braking. Then these two involve the tire dynamic balance and the brake discs. If there is, then you need to do the corresponding inspection, such as tire dynamic balance, such as I need to measure the surface run out of the brake disc, the thickness of the brake pads, or whether the brake pads are stuck, whether the brake pads are overheated, including abnormal noises from the brakes, whether there are any foreign objects between the brake disc and pad, and how about the wear and tear of your tires? Has the wear limit been reached? Whether the tire pressure is normal, whether the tire wear is uniform, are there any punctures, or bumps, or shedding layers? Whether the tires need to be replaced. These are all things we should check, including the road sections we are driving on, such as some dirty things, plastic bags, ropes, and grass. Will these be rolled into your half shaft or the drive shaft, causing odor? Some may even cause fires. Of course, the more serious is to damage the chassis rubber bushings and oil leakage. We have to lift the car to confirm. Another thing is bottoming out. When it hits the bottom, we need to pay attention. What part of the car is damaged? Is it the front or the middle, or the rear after going downhill? The rear is fine. There are no key parts. There is an oil tank in the middle. The front is the engine and transmission. Of course, this is the majority of cases. Due to the different vehicle structures, the positions of key parts are also different. We need to analyze it case by case, but we can ourselves make a simple judgment. Which part was hit? Whether there is oil leakage after bottoming out, abnormal noise, deviation, inaccurate fuel gauge, or even some odors such as gasoline, burnt smell, and whether there is oil on the road after parking overnight. If none of these happen, then the part we hit may not be a big deal, but it's best to lift it up to see exactly where it was hit, especially for new energy vehicles, especially the battery of new energy vehicles. We must come back to check. Even if we have a big bottoming, a relatively large bottoming, we should quickly find a nearby car to lift it up and have a look. Another thing is refueling. The refueling we are talking about means adding fuel. Many places do not have ethanol gasoline, and in some places there is no regular gasoline. In these two fueling environments, we are driving in between. If we add, such as ethanol gasoline, after driving for a while, such as poor acceleration or the malfunction indicator light, if so, we need to check the fuel tank or even clean the fuel system. We can talk about this topic separately because it may be a little sensitive. We won't discuss it in detail here. Then there is the malfunction indicator light. Many friends mainly focus on the engine malfunction indicator light. In fact, there are many other malfunction indicators, such as blue, green, yellow, and red. Depending on the color, their emergency situations and priorities are different. On my channel, search for the malfunction indicator light you want to know. I think most of the content I shot have already covered the key meanings of these lights and what causes them. Check it quickly. Just remember one principle. After I start the car, fasten your seatbelt and start driving. Green and blue lights are on, no problem, which doesn't affect the vehicle's performance. They may only indicate some functions. If the red light is on, it's about personal safety. Yellow light means it's about the vehicle's performance. If these two lights are on, if these two colors of lights are on, go to repair it quickly. Of course, there is also off-road road. The chassis should remove some debris. For example, if the car has driven on unpaved roads, has its cooling system been affected, such as mud, and whether there is any sand in the transmission system, which may cause dynamic imbalance. This also needs to be checked. Some cars have installed protective plates themselves. There is some mud and some sand. It's okay in the short term, but in the long term on bumpy roads, it will wear out the pipes and wires. If the wire jacket is worn out, and the brake oil pipe will be worn out, it will be a problem. When you come back, you need to thoroughly clean the chassis, especially off-road vehicles. Some friends crossed the water in the process. Some did it on purpose for fun. They drove through, and some were passively wading through water. flooded by rain. It doesn't affect your driving. At this time, we still need to check, such as touching whether the floor is wet or not, and the oil quality of each assembly, because once water enters each assembly, it will dilute or emulsify the oil, which will affect lubrication. Although you can drive home in the short term, but if you don't pay attention to it for a long time, or check, and keep using this deteriorated oil, it may cause damage to the assembly. The entire assembly needs to be replaced. Of course, we have also covered. We have also explained in detail. You can search on my homepage. There are more than one or two. And because you take your children out, the child is tossing and playing, eat and play, and many food, drinks, and toys may get stuck in some corner. So I think it's necessary to clean it up. Firstly, these foods may go bad, causing mildew in the car, and the smell is bad, and affect the health of the people in the car. If your food in the car, not only will they go bad, but also attract small animals. If a little mouse comes in and bite the interior and bites the wires, which is even worse. For this kind of problem, we have encountered not one or two cases, especially for small animals. Enters the car, it can't get out, and dies in the car. The smell in your car will be quite rich. When cleaning it, the cost of cleaning and your psychological shadow will be great. Okay, we've finished talking about the inspection after travel. Let's talk about the upcoming National Day holiday. Some things we should pay attention to. It's actually a checkup. At this time, check the contents after the trip. At the same time, it is best to add something. Let the driver take the car for a test drive, because not all friends are very sensitive and knowledgeable. But as a frontline mechanic, high speed, bumps, turns, and brakes, he drives around. He can basically tell whether your car major problems can be detected. Finally, use a diagnostic scanner to scan to see if there are any hidden faults. After dealing with these problems, then when we travel on National Day, we'll be more at ease. Another thing is, it's the seasonal change for the areas south of the Yellow River. Except for those areas with high altitude, the temperature will not drop significantly. For high altitude and high latitude areas, you may need to prepare for winter. You need to make some advanced considerations, such as whether the antifreeze's freezing point is enough, the battery's lifespan, whether there is leakage, whether the windshield washer fluid is antifreeze. Especially during the National Day holiday, we may need to. Some friends from the south to the north and go to northeast China. Some places in northeast China have already snowed. We should pay attention to these anti-freezing measures. At the same time, it should be comfortable for people to drive. You should bring warm clothes. More importantly, you need to check the vehicles, whether all the heaters are in good condition, such as seat heating, defogging of the windshield, which includes defogging the front windshield, and rear windshield heating wires. And some cars have heated steering wheels, and whether the heating is intact. If there are no problems, then our trip will be more secure. I mentioned defogging earlier. Because of the large temperature difference, it may form fog on the front and rear windshields, and triangular glass with fog. We need to know the quick defogging method. It's easy with automatic air conditioning. I turn it to defogging mode, and it will start automatically. What if it's a manual air conditioner? We need to turn on the outdoor circulation, set the maximum wind speed, and turn on the compressor. At this time, the defogging effect is the fastest. Of course, some cars with electric heating wires, the speed will be faster. In the northeastern region, there are many places with large temperature differences. The road will produce fog, so the state of your fog lights, the state of the headlight, and hazard lights are in good condition. Some cars are equipped with active cruise control, which is non-visual to check the obstacles ahead. This function is especially good for driving in fog. The principle is to let others see you clearly and see the environment further away. Another point is that What is a characteristic of the seasonal change? There are many mosquitoes. First, people should be prepared for mosquito bites. Secondly, your car. The windshield washer fluid should be anti-insect glue. The front insect net should be added at this time. Some cars can add a bug screen. Add a bug to the hood. Change the oncoming airflow to make the glass cleaner. This will not affect our line of sight. Of course, your windshield wipers should be good. There are also some parking tips. Because it's about to turn to winter, many places, especially on the grassland, the grass will wither. If we drive on unpaved roads and there are more weeds, we must stop the car. We must park in a low grass area because the engine temperature will be relatively high, especially the exhaust pipe, which may ignite the grass, causing the vehicle to catch fire. This is also what we have experienced. Finally, I remind everyone, especially those who don't drive long distances often, at this time you can add some additives and add them to the fuel tank and driving on the highway, which can help remove the carbon deposits. I have them in my window. If you are interested, you can take a look. Okay, today, let's talk about what should we check when we come back from a trip. Before the next trip, what should we pay attention to? What checks should be done for the vehicle in the season change? I've simply talked about it. I also hope that you use this time to spend time with your family, have fun and eat well, and have a safe journey. Okay, that's all for today's useless knowledge. Thank you for your attention, and I hope you can like, comment, and share. That's all for today. Let's continue our conversation next time. Bye!